Welcome to Tech Smarter. My name is Abby Ritchie. I'm the tech guru at the Smarter Service, and you can find me right here every Wednesday talking with people who are engaged in aging services. It's an exciting place to be, and I am thrilled to introduce my guest to you in just one moment. Before I do that, I want to thank Arizona Leading Age for sponsoring Tech Smarter and to the Smarter Service for producing this episode. Now, if you are a senior living operator and you're looking to solve that tech resident issue, and we know it is big, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let us help you with that. We've professionalized this service and we are ready and completely available to help you with that. Now, without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and bring my guest on today. Today we have Kiumars Haziq. He is with MOBI. Welcome to Tech Smarter, Kiumars.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you found yourself in this space?
So basically, dealing with aging parents, of course, personally, and being part of a society that we all have to somehow be caregivers for someone. It basically intrigued me to be part of MOBI's team for the past 12 years, and we do a lot of fun things here. And of course, we'll give everyone some feedback on what we do and how we try to simplify the aging in place and independent living, of course, with the tech that we're providing to them. That's where the excitement comes in. Of course, that's how I ended up being in MOBI for that long.
I love it. I love it. And for anyone who's not familiar with MOBI, could you please explain to us what MOBI does?
Yeah, so MOBI has been in the US market since 2003. Of course, the founder at MOBI, his name is David. He has been in basically pharmacy business for the past 40 years. His knowledge and his expertise from coming from insurance and all of that issues that we will have to deal as caregivers, of course, having to go through taking care of our children, taking care of our parents, our family. Basically, that's how MOBI started creating innovative products for helping that caregiving market, in this case, with the technology we came into to the market.
Yeah, I would definitely consider myself part of the sandwich generation. So I'm helping my parents with their technology, and then occasionally my children, they're older now, need help as well. And so it's truly an overwhelming position to be in as an adult caregiver with so many apps that you're having to manage and understand. I want to ask you, like, how challenging, how dangerous is it for this type of fragmentation to occur when a family is just trying to help a loved one at home?
So basically, as a concept, we know there is a lot of story behind it that we can go one by one. There are people that have to go through visiting their parents multiple times throughout the day while they're having their regular day job. Of course, having to struggle between the family, as you pointed out, the sandwich generation, they become patients themselves because of the juggles that they have to go through in between. We have had patients and people that actually pointed out that they had to go through their parents to go and check on them multiple times throughout the day just to make sure that they took their medication, for example. Just making sure if they're doing okay, if they have fallen and they don't know what happened to them. And caregiving itself is really expensive to basically be able to afford it for 24 hours. And some of us are fortunate to afford it. But of course, a lot of people are really expensive to maintain having a caregiver full time. And that becomes basically a burden, and also not only the burden, but also the struggle that you have to deal with it on daily basis. So some of the tech that we came up with basically to offset that dangerous momentum from app pigmentation, for example, in this case, you're dealing with a patient at 2 a.m. Let's put that as an example. You're curious how mom is doing, and you have to still figure out which app you're going to go through your phone, and you have 20 apps for different purposes. So we try to basically eliminate that burden and make it simplified for basically caregivers and family members, so they don't have to go through that hustle every day.
Right, so that they have a single dashboard, for instance, of all of the software that they need instead of a folder with 6 or 7 apps in it. Is that right?
Yes, so we simplified that by having one app, one platform that every possible health devices can work together seamlessly. So you have one health profile, you have the ability to expand additional devices to it, and you have the ability to basically add more family members to be able to having multiple family members monitoring the same patient. I can give you some examples. We have
Yeah.
an alert button, for example, that works through the same app. We have blood pressure monitor. We have scales. We have a scale that actually does 18 different vitals. It's not just for weight, for example. You're looking at basically bone density, water weight, skeleton muscle, weight itself. Of course, some of the areas medications actually affect mass or bone mass, basically. So that's why you're keeping an eye on basically not only losing weight, gaining weight, but at the same time looking at the overall health picture in this case.
Yeah, it's just reminding me over the weekend we were visiting my mom and she needed help with her blood pressure monitor, just basically setting it up, and then she also needed help with her sleep mask, and so pretty much overnight, an adult caregiver becomes like an IT director and all of these different various needs. And I'm just curious how you're able to set up the app so that it doesn't become more of a burden for a caregiver.
So our philosophy is to simplify their life, not to make it more complicated than it is already. So basically, we use the technology that makes it as simple as basically 3-second setup. Most of our products are coming ready to go out of the box. So basically, the user experience becomes one of our biggest area that we need to improve for end users, and of course the caregivers, that they're already having burdens of, as you pointed out, struggling between the IT, the technology, and all the tools that they need to take care of their families and loved ones properly. We, for example, use a 4.8 BLE connection, so it basically instantly finds the product in the app right away without having to go through a lot of steps to make that connection, for example. We use the BLE for the connection. We use the Wi-Fi, for example, on the connectivity, so you can remotely monitor that patient. So we're using all the tools that are disposable in the market right now based on the technology that is offered, to simplify the connection, make it out of the box, ready to go, and basically having to not deal with all those struggles that people have to do.
I got to tell you, anytime I hear out of the box ready to go, it signals an alarm for me, because having worked with older adults for years, I know that nothing is plug and play, nothing's out of the box ready to go. And even this weekend, my mom was looking for the manual for her sleep machine and was hesitant to even do anything without that actual manual. How do you ensure that a caregiver has the right tools in place to support all of this diverse technology?
So what we are doing is we're focused mostly on more important vitals that they need. For example, we're not giving you 1,000 different vitals that is unnecessary for someone's health. We're giving you basically the tools that you need specifically for that specific patient. For example, we have, let's assume based on the 25 devices that we have, a patient that you're taking care of is having an Alzheimer, for example. We have solutions for Alzheimer's specifically. We have solutions for Parkinson's, for example. We have solutions that you can actually specifically use it for aging in place parents, for example. So, like, for example, medication adherence is one of the biggest problems in elderly patients. And also, they forget sometimes that they took their medication and they overdose themselves by taking it again. So we created a pill dispenser, for example, that basically allows them to get an audible alarm in the device, but also caregivers and family members will be notified if they didn't take their medication, or if they try to tamper with the dispenser for taking it again, even though it's locked and they can't dispense it again. But on top of that, we added, for example, a camera so that the caregiver and family member can actually see them taking the medication. So all of these bells and whistles that we added and created specific geared packages so that each patient can be monitored the way they should be. I have an example which one of my family members' uncle had Alzheimer's, and he wandered out at 8 p.m. going to his job at night, dressing up and leaving house, and they didn't find him till next morning. By having a door sensor, for example, they will get a trigger notification that 8 p.m. the door shouldn't have been opened. By having a camera, they should have known exactly why while he walked out, and things like that. We are trying to basically having personal experiences brought into these, and we put a lot of thoughts behind each patient's caregiving aspect. Of course, we are all caregivers and we all experience different things. We work with a lot of elderly patient or elderly homes, basically to see different perspectives from different caregivers so that we can find solutions based on the solutions or devices that we offer.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You know, so much of this just adds a lot of anxiety for the caregiver, just trying to stay focused, trying to stay on top of everything. Do you find that having cameras, for instance, is a solution to a lot of this, or have you found that it's also infringing on their privacy and dignity?
That's one of the areas that actually we have been addressing mostly to our caregivers in this case. Of course, independent living is one of the biggest things that we want everyone to be comfortable in their own home and things like that. So we have had ability to basically have the patients that they're okay with commonly monitored area, for example, a living room where they're putting their medication box, for example. So that's one of the solution. And for more concerned patients, of course, we have sensors that motion based sensors, for example. You can actually see if the patient walked in at 10 o'clock every morning to go to the bathroom, and this morning they didn't show up in the bathroom area. You get a notification based on just their motion and basically existence in that room. So those were the areas that we're basically making sure that everyone is very comfortable and they use the devices that they actually need, and that's how they're comfortable with to use it.
I want to ask you because you've been doing this now or in this field now for 12 years, and so much has changed in the past 12 years. So much, there have been so many advancements, especially in this area of technology. What are some of the features that you've been surprised about that have been adopted so easily?
So some of course, the features of things are changing. People are adopting technology, and of course, after COVID, one of the biggest change that happened, of course, telehealth is one of the areas that is growing consistently. And adoption to the telehealth is, of course, one of the biggest thing right now after COVID, because everyone, for getting an appointment from a doctor, of course, takes 2 months to go to your primary doctor. So that being said, of course, you have the ability to track all your health vitals through one platform instead of having to go through different apps, as we pointed out earlier, keeping everything in one health profile and then sharing it with your healthcare provider without having to actually wait for 2 months or going to their offices and, of course, taking a day off from work. All that. So that's where basically a lot of things are going towards the telehealth side of things. And of course, one element that we're pointing out the most, of course, I'm using it regularly myself. When you go to your doctor, the first thing they do is ask you for journaling your blood pressure monitor for data, for example. With our case, you don't have to do that. It's basically tracking it for you, keeping graphs for you, and of course, you have a longer period data instead of just a snapshot of the moment. We are allowing the patients to be able to have their weight at home, their basically blood pressure tests at home. They can see all diagnostics and systolics data. You can see SpO2. You can have your pulse rates. All of that vital in one place for a longer period of time instead of just a snapshot when you walk into your doctor's office.
Yeah, it sounds like that's an ideal situation. I know that with these type of monitoring systems, you're collecting and collecting and collecting, but where is it all going and how is it being used? Is that something that you're able to solve?
Yes, that's actually very interesting because, of course, we deal with this on a daily basis now. We try to keep all the data as simple and as easy to read for end users. Of course, a lot of medical reports we get, I mean, I'm sure all of us deal with that. Sometimes we don't even understand what those numbers mean.
Yeah.
We simplified that in our app. Basically, we have created color-coded options in the app and in physical devices as well. So, for example, if you're taking a temperature, a 97, sometimes we don't know if it's good or bad. A 99, we don't know if it's good or bad. So we color coded it in our app and we color coded it in our products, for example, so that you can actually see if it's orange, it's mild, it's red, it's high, it's green, it's normal. So we use as WHO standards. That's how the health vitals are basically recognized. So we try to keep those as relevant as possible, but make it easier for end users to understand that data. Not only understanding it, but at the same time, they can get triggers and understand the fact that, of course, this is something I need to share with my doctor now.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an ideal solution for so much fragmented software, 100%. And do you find that the physicians are open to it, or they're also asking you to use their particular software?
In most cases, yes, they are, because of course, every person who goes to their doctor, they need to have somehow journal their information. And usually in the past, it has happened manually. Of course, there is no specific system. Of course, some doctors provide some devices like blood pressure monitors that you can monitor at home, but it's only one snapshot of one health vital, right? So we try to basically have everything accessible, affordable, and make it basically available for everyone so that they can have the entire health picture instead of just a snapshot of thing.
Yeah, we'd love to know, just for future reference, what type of features you're planning on innovating into the software in the upcoming years.
Can you repeat that again one more time?
Sure,
Sorry.
sure. I'm just curious about the kind of features that you're planning on implementing into the software in the upcoming years.
So there is a lot of things actually in the pipeline that we're working. There are some exciting stuff that we are having in the pipeline right now. Of course, glucose monitors are one of the areas that we are adding into our system. We're implementing ability to basically analyze the data through our own platform. So basically, when you're looking at all your health vitals, you have the ability for AI to basically go back to AI inside the platform and ask if I'm doing okay, I'm not doing okay, what should I be looking at trends. One other thing that's very exciting for me personally is longevity, for example. So we're looking into health vitals for a longer period of time. So we can give you basically feedback based on how your trends are going. Basically, we need you to improve something in long term. We need you to have a basically 5 minutes walk today. Things like that that basically improves overall health. So we're making this as part of a healthy habit lifestyle rather than just a medical device.
Yeah, another thing I'm very curious about is what you would say to any innovators in this space, because I come into contact with a lot of people, a lot of innovators who are creating products for older adults. What would you say to an innovator who is newer in the space and wants to go to market with their product?
I would say user experience 100 times, just because that comes in very handy for when you're dealing with an elderly patient. Especially the generation we're dealing with right now, they're not tech savvy. Adopting technology is really hard for them. Of course, they came from a background that they were not used to a lot of tech related items and tools that they didn't have at their disposal. The tech boom happened recently, of course, and it takes a little bit longer for them to adopt it, of course. Ease of use, user experience, ready out of the box. Those will be my biggest thing that I would recommend.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. What is the best way for people to connect with you?
So our website is mobiusa.com. It's mobiusa.com. We are available through majority of major retailers. We are at CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Target, Albertsons, Kroger's, HEB, and a few other channels. Of course, we're selected products and selected retail channels, but they can find everything through our website, mobiusa.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And for those of you who are joining us in the chat, thank you for your participation. And we will see you all right back here next week.
Thank you, Abby, for having me, and thank you, everyone. Bye.